Good morning, sweet friends. Okay, so today we're doing part 2 of being ghosted by the guy I'm currently seeing. So if you did not watch part 1, I recommend you watch that first, but let's pick back up. Thank you for being here. Comment, like, subscribe, and let's go. Okay, so where I left off was me and B had an amazing first date. I was 100% sure that the feelings were mutual and that there would definitely be a second date. But I messaged him to tell him I had a great time, to say I would like to meet again, and I never hear from him. So for me, life went on. I continued my life. I kind of just got him out of my head and all was good. So it's about exactly 2 months since our date, and I'm walking down the street, my phone buzzes, I look, and there's B's name. And a message that says, "Hey, how's your week going?" So my immediate response, or like the thought in my head was, I didn't feel angry. Like, I've really been working for a while now on not ever feeling anger. For me, it's just not an emotion that feels good at all. So I saw it did kind of make my heart beat like, well, you gotta be kidding me, is really the feeling I had. I think I almost felt disrespected, like, you really think that I'm the type of woman that you can go on an amazing date with and then ghost for 2 months and then show back up like nothing happened? Kind of like, do you play me for a fool? That's how I was feeling about it. But I looked at it and I thought, like, I did feel like if I responded at that moment, it would be an emotional response. So I'm so grateful that I've gotten to this point, because I've not always been like this, but I thought, let me just put it aside. I'm gonna go enjoy my night and I'll deal with this afterwards when there's less emotions around it. So clearly, like, the fact that it did make me feel emotional did make me realize, like, okay, I really did like this guy. So I go have a good night, and then I leave. I was at a music show, so I leave the music show, and I'm walking back to my car, and I look at the message again, and I had thought of some things to say. Like, the main thing I thought I should reply is like, "Hey there, I don't have time for people who ghost me." But I was like, this is all too weird. Like, I really think he's a great guy, and we have this mutual friend who's a great guy. Like, things aren't adding up. So I decided to call our mutual friend, and I call him and I'm talking with him like, you're not gonna believe this. Me and your best friend B went on a date 2 months ago. It was an amazing date. I had a great time. I thought the feelings were mutual. But I messaged him after, and I never heard from him again. He ghosted me. And now he's messaging me 2 months later as if nothing happened. Like, is this what your friend is really like? And A responded, like, I swear he told me that you ghosted him like 2 months ago. And at that moment, everything made sense. Like, I was kind of like, how did I not think of that before? Or like, I did think of it before, but I guess I just think that technology these days is so good. And I had told quite a few people about this scenario, and no one once suggested, like, well, did you not get his text? Maybe try calling him or try texting him again. Like, everyone I told this scenario to, like, their conclusion was like, yeah, just move on. Like, that's just what people in dating do these days. That's how dating works. So with that information, I felt great. I was like, thank goodness, because it did make me lose hope a little in dating, when it was like, I swear this guy is so nice and such a great guy, and even he is someone who would ghost like that. So having that information that he thought I ghosted him, I text him and I just say like, hey B, I thought that you had ghosted me. And he responded like, I thought you ghosted me. And he sent the receipt, you know, of the text of him responding and asking me on another date, and then me just not responding. But the reason I didn't respond is because I never got his message where he responds to my text and asks me on another date. So for 2 months, both of us had been thinking that the other had ghosted. Both of us also, I think, had been thinking like, did the other really ghost? So I think it was just a few days after we realized the mistake that had been made, we went on another date, and from there we started just going on dates regularly. So now I think it's been over a month and things are going great. Okay, I'm not an Android hater, but I will add that I have an iPhone and he has an Android. I had an Android for the longest time, and I do feel like when I had an Android, the message scenario was a little off, and sometimes people wouldn't get my messages or I wouldn't receive them. Since I've had an iPhone, I haven't really noticed that happening, but it did make me think like, are there other people that I thought ghosted me? But I think this was kind of a more or less one-off scenario. Anyways, I do think it's more common that if someone doesn't respond to you, it's probably ghosting. But from this situation, what I learned is if things really aren't adding up and it really seems strange that they ghosted, maybe try just giving it one more shot. Or if you have a mutual friend, ask the mutual friend about it. I think like my ego was too hurt, or I was like embarrassed to tell the mutual friend. I also just didn't want to bother the mutual friend and say like, hey, your friend ghosted me. But if I would have told them that, I would have found out a lot sooner that this was all a misunderstanding. So that's the story of being ghosted by the man that I'm currently seeing. And that's it for this week, y'all. I hope everyone's having a great week. Stay safe. Lots of love to you all. Give yourself a hug. You're doing great. You got this. You got this. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you've had a similar situation. Have you thought someone ghosted you and then it turns out that it was a misunderstanding? Let me know. Bye. I love you all.